Welcome to Cruz News. I'm Richard Stockton. Tonight we will be telling Santa Cruz stories about the Sub Rosa Cafe giving forgiveness, about the kombucha controversy, and John Laird. Also, a recent AAA survey shows good news for Santa Cruz tourism over the July 4th weekend. People are coming in, it's up, and Cruz News has found that not all the people have been here before. In fact, a woman was heard on the end of the wharf in Santa Cruz pointing at the city of Monterey and asking, "Is that Hawaii?" New Leaf Community Market has joined Whole Foods in pulling kombucha from the shelves. It's a fermented tea, and the fear is that the alcohol content raises above the 0.5% allowed by law. The high alcohol content may come from long shelf life. Fermentation can sometimes continue in the container. And the drink kombucha, very popular with Santa Cruz health and New Age healing advocates. They say that the drink has led to drunk yoga. Here we see the traditional Shavasana pose, and now the drunk Shavasana. We see the traditional child's pose, and now kombucha child's pose. Here's the bridge pose, and now the drunk bridge pose. The traditional cat-cow pose, and now the kombucha cat-cow pose. The halasana pose, and now the drunk halasana pose. The dolphin pose, which, by the way, is very dangerous. You should get stuck in the dolphin pose. I was down at the dog park, and I got stuck in this position and received the unwanted attentions of a German shepherd. I must say, it was pretty touch and go there for a minute. They had to turn the hose on us. Here we have the Shalambhasana pose, and now the drunk Shalambhasana pose. All right. The happy baby pose, and now the kombucha happy baby pose. And finally, the Malashana pose, and now the drunk Malashana pose. Oh my God, I think that's my brother-in-law. Oh. A Santa Cruz grand jury report concludes that if the November 2nd initiative for legalizing and taxing pot passes, Santa Cruz County can gain $7.5 million. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. The title of the report's preamble is "Getting the Dope on Dope. The grand jury attempts to clear the smoke in the joint from the numbers." Yeah. Yes. It really is. It really says that. The report assumes that pot would cost $100 an ounce, that 19 million ounces will be sold statewide, and that this county would impose a $50 per ounce tax. Pot could bring in Santa Cruz County $7.5 million. Isn't that amazing? It turns out you can make money selling pot. Who knew? Santa Cruz County Supervisor Tony Campos says the number one place for the tax money to go would be into the schools. So there will be schools. Our children need some place to show up stoned. This has nothing to do with my drive to make marijuana mandatory in the schools. Okay, that's right. All right. The Santa Cruz library system, in a related story, faces a $1.2 million shortfall this year, and legalization and taxation of marijuana could restore the library budget and open up the new pot book section in our libraries. Someday we might find these books next to each other. Reefer Madness, next to Naked Girls on Pot. And by the way, I just want our audience out there to know that our audience in here at Cruz News Studios has been drug tested. We give them drugs to find out which ones work the best. And this is our second show, and I think we're getting it dialed in. Do you think? Former District Assembly member John Laird says that the August 15th runoff for the California District 15 Senate seat, he will be running on a level playing field without a date chosen by the governor to confuse the voters. The date Laird is referring to was the last election on Tuesday, June 22nd. Well, it was a confusing election. Nobody got elected. The next time, the predominantly Democratic voting base in Santa Cruz will not be fooled by KSCO radio broadcast that the polling booth is at the mystery spot. We've got the numbers to send this guy to Sacramento. If we all put the bong down on August 15th, we can win. Just saying that. Just saying that. All right. A man was arrested over the weekend for allegedly breaking into the Sub Rosa Cafe in downtown Santa Cruz. Representatives of the Sub Rosa Cafe requested no burglary charges be filed against him, according to the District Attorney of Santa Cruz. In a written statement, the Sub Rosa Committee said that the break-in was another symptom of capitalism. Some people have nothing and feel desperate enough to break into spaces that also have nothing. The Sub Rosa group said that we will live our philosophy and we are antichrists. They're antichrist. I'm sorry, man. That's just a tough one for me. That's hard. I mean, a philosophy of an antichrist. I mean, here in Santa Cruz, the spiritual community. I mean, antichrist. What the hell, man? I mean, like I grew up in a household that was agnostic. I didn't know. My dad told me there's no way of knowing causation. That's how I had to come up, and I had to find Christ on my own. And for there to be an antichrist, I mean, how am I going to ward off Satan, huh? As an agnostic, what am I going to do, huh? I'm going to what would I use? I'm to ward him off with a question mark, just back Satan, back Satan. And I come to Santa Cruz, and here I am. I mean, this place is. I am now an ordained minister. I made the commitment. I did. I went online. I'm a universal life minister. I've married people in Santa Cruz. This is a spiritual place. People here in Santa, I mean, my God, bisexual people are loved here, and Jesus loves the bisexual person. Jesus told me once, he said, for what is a bisexual? But someone who will reach down into someone's pants and be satisfied with whatever they find. By God, Antichrist, I'm sorry, I just can't live with it. This type of thing can't happen in America. Richard. This is Santa Cruz, for God's sake. Santa Cruz, the saint of cruising, is here. Oh my God, I mean, what?
It's anarchist.
Oh, well, okay. We are anarchists. And crimes against property are driven by poverty and desperation, and we do not wish to prosecute. Thank you. Now let's go with C.J. Jackson out to Santa Cruz Yoga for our segment, Healing Revolutions.
So today, Richard, I'm going to turn into a pretzel. No comments from the peanut gallery. Anyway, I'm here at Santa Cruz Yoga in the Kelly's Bakery Shopping...
Kelly's Bakery Courtyard.
Courtyard, okay. With Diane Watt, the yoga guru here at Santa Cruz Yoga. And how long have you been teaching yoga here at Santa Cruz Yoga Center, and what type of yoga do you teach?
I've been teaching here since about February. It's a new center, and that's when it opened. The type of yoga I teach is an Ashtanga Vinyasa flow yoga.
Ooh, that sounds very nice. I like it already. What type of health benefits will I gain from taking Ashtanga yoga?
Well, any yoga class, I would say, CJ, you'd find benefits that are appropriate for you. You could have a clearer mind, more flow in the body, perhaps more better movement of energy through the body, and maybe more of a bounce in your step when you walk out.
Oh, you're saying I don't have enough bounce, Diane?
I think you have enough bounce, but maybe you'll have a clearer mind.
Well, is there anything special going on here at Santa Cruz Yoga that you'd like to tell our viewers about? I know some of these beautiful paintings I've noticed back here, as well as a book.
Yes, this is Mark Stevens' new book. It's Teaching Yoga, and it can be found on Amazon. And
he's the owner here, right?
That's right. He's the owner of Santa
Hold
Cruz
it
Yoga.
way up there.
And also, this is my art. I do yoga postures into what I call pop art yoga.
Very cool. You
And-
have one on your shirt.
I do. This one is actually a Kuan Yin yoga in a pose called revolved side angle.
Do you do that on like underwear?
You
Well,
know,
that's between us. We'll talk about it.
I can
later.
for CJ.
Oh. Well, Richard, no pain, no gain, they say. So this Diane Watts, she really knows her stuff. I think I need some ice. Or a medic. I'm not quite sure. Back to you.
In the ongoing controversy concerning street musicians on Pacific Avenue in Santa Cruz, first, to get local reaction to the use of excessive police force, we go to our man on the street. That would be me. Take it away, Richard. Thanks, Richard.
Also have a lot of incredibly untalented people who are sort of just making self-indulgent noise and are calling it music. And I think that's not good for anybody. I mean, it's not good for downtown businesses who have to put up with the noise. It's not good for tourists who are sort of bothered
How do you
by the noise.
figure out what what is noise and what is music? How
right.
do we know?
So the great, I forget which Supreme Court justice said it. It said, look, I don't know what pornography is, or I can't define pornography, but I know it when I see it. It's the same kind of thing, right? I mean, art, yes, there is sort of a subjectiveness to it, right? But really bad street performers, you know them when you see them, right? I mean, it's basically, and you can actually have
What
sort of
pisses you off? What really pisses you off when you a street performer you don't like, for example?
What pisses me off is when they're not making music, when they're making noise.
And now what's noise?
Noise is where, like, you know, you got you're missing a couple strings on your guitar and you're just belting out, wailing some tune that's off key and just is just noise. Like I said, you know it when you hear it. It's hard to sort of say, oh well, this is noise and that's not, and this is sort of.
You don't like it.
I don't like it, and not only do I not like it, but if you just look at people as they're walking by, they realize that, you know what, not anybody else likes it either, as opposed to some of the really good street musicians who people stop, they listen, maybe they give them money, but they're actually into the music or into the performance, right? There's some great kids down here who play like classical violin songs, which is kind of interesting, and it's not sort of your typical street musician music, but they're really, really good and they're really talented, and people actually stop and listen as opposed to sort of hurry on by so their ears don't have to hurt
Okay,
anymore.
you are the head of a company here.
Right.
So how do you regulate that on the street? How do
Well,
you
it's
let
not
the
my job to regulate anything out there on the street. I mean, it's my just like anybody else. I mean, it's people will stop and listen if they're enjoying it, or they ignore it, or in very extreme cases they'll do something to try to stop it. And in my case, if I feel like one of our members here who may be on an important conference call or having an important meeting or just trying to get their work done to make money, grow the economy, all that stuff, right? Which is some people don't think is all that important in Santa Cruz, but actually kind of is. If it's interfering with their ability to do that, and it really rises to the point where they're really unable to.
Does that happen here?
It does.
Stay tuned for a special Cruz News report on police state coming to downtown Santa Cruz. It's crushing. And now here's our special report on police coming down hard on street performers in Santa Cruz.
Now is the time for your tears.
We legally have an hour to play in this spot. No matter how good or bad we play, then we move along.
And that is Santa Cruz law.
Yeah.
So how do you get moved along?
Well, we'll play for an hour and we're happy to move along, but the police officer will come and show up and say, we've received a complaint, you have to stop now. We do have animosity against the police department a little bit. It seems to be their policy to use this law, even though it's written to not include street performers. It is like 10 guys banging on garbage cans, and it is so unbelievably disturbing. Doesn't that person way upstairs in the apartment who's 65 years old and doesn't that random person have the right to stop it?
Okay, that all looks pretty good. But watch this right now. Watch this.
Reason I'm contacting you is because my government complaints. You checked on a meter from a citizen that's about 200 feet away from here, and he's at 105 decibels and he's averaging 80, which is unreasonable from 200 feet away in a building.
I don't think there's any legal precedent for reasonable or unreasonable.
I'm just saying it's disrupting businesses 200 feet away inside a building. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I've gotten the complaints. At this point, I'm not here to tell you to stop. However, it might be interesting to at least tone it down.
All right. There's got to be something in there. Just, come on.
You know what? Those are people who walk by. They've not stuck listening to it for more than an hour. It's already been about 40 minutes now. You did take a little reprieve there for about 3 minutes. So that's good. And right now, you're
good or
taking a
bad,
break.
legally we have an hour to play and then we move on. Good or bad?
Well, not necessarily legally. That's just the
legally,
guidelines
yes.
that we've kind of put
There
together.
isn't a street. Right.
That's all I'm here to tell you.
What just happened?
Officer Harms said that he's got some complaints. We're affecting business adversely someplace in the nearby region. He stood across the street with a decibel meter and got 150. It's maxing out at, averaging at 80. He says that's disturbing the peace. We normally never get threatened with a disturbing the peace ticket, but he's just giving us a warning that we should tone it down a little.
That's our police brutality report on Cruz News. Like me, if you're wondering how to spell Wallace's name, it's on his book. Last week, we did an interview with arts and entertainment editor of the Santa Cruz Sentinel, Wallace Bain, and we incorrectly gave his website. His website is wallacebain.com, and it's right there, WALLACEBAINE.com. Thank you, Wallace. Next week, we've got a special report, Pot Watch 2010. I'm Richard Stocking. You've been at gas, everyone. The Cruz News. See you next time. Great.